Chef D. It's time to wake up. We're at Severn Lodge.
Welcome. Welcome to At the Cottage with me, Chef D. I'm just trying to wake up and get my wits about me. Hey, special thanks to Gypsy Wind Coaches, the Culinary Tourism Alliance, for keeping it local. Won't you join me? So sitting here with Assistant General Manager Gary Dunn. Gary, this is spectacular.
Thank you. It's our little slice of paradise.
I can see why. So there's a whole bunch of history to this property, isn't there?
It's been around a long time.
So when was the initial lodge created?
So the property itself has been around since, I guess, going back to the mid 1800s, when it was one of the headquarters for the Georgian Bay Logging Company. And I guess when that era finished around the 1870s, the property was purchased by some well-to-do folks in the States, and they turned it into a recreation camp, and they called it the Moore Dolphin Camp.
The Moore Dolphin Camp.
The Moore Dolphin Camp, until that ran until
Are there any dolphins out there?
No, you won't find those out there. No. And then until about the 20s, the 1920s, that ran, and then it was bought by another family from Akron, Ohio, and that is when it was renamed to Severn Lodge. And then the Breckbill family, who currently own the property, came in 1936. So everything since then is what you see now.
And so again, passed down from generation to generation.
The Breckbills are now in third generation ownership. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So when did you come on board to be the GM?
I came on board in 2016. Was my first year.
And you kind of been in and around this area for a long time.
Yeah. Hospitality is definitely my passion. This area specifically, I mean, Muskoka, just, I mean, they say once discovered, never forgotten.
Right.
So that's certainly the case with me. And yeah, I mean, 5 years here, 20 years at a property close by.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been in the area a long time.
And you kind of got out of it for a little bit because this is how you got here, right? It's a good story.
It is a funny story. So, I mean, technology, IT is really kind of my schooling and my education. And when I was, between hospitality roles, I fell back on that and was doing some IT stuff involving some communications tower climbing.
Right.
And one of those indeed is the one you see just in front of us here.
Right.
And so coming here a couple of times to do some work, got talking to the Breckbills, and the rest is history.
So now you're open, as Chef was mentioning, from the long weekend in May right through Thanksgiving, right?
Right, yeah, Victoria Day typically to Thanksgiving.
So you could rent the property to, if you wanted to have a wedding here?
Absolutely. Typically we do weddings in the spring and fall, usually on the weekends, and one of the biggest draws for us when it comes to weddings is exclusive use of the property.
Right.
So to be able to bring your wedding guests here and have the place to yourself for the weekend just makes for an absolutely wonderful atmosphere.
This is fantastic. I could stay here. So the other part that I mentioned, then when I was looking up and doing some research on the property is that you're one of the only all-inclusive resorts in Ontario.
It's true, there's not too many of us left.
So what made you choose that, especially in this time?
I think that it's one of those things that people really enjoy and they look for. It's one thing, to come to Muskoka and rent a cottage, and that's great and all, and to have a wonderful place in a wonderful location, but when you gotta spend time in the kitchen and cook the meals, it takes away from the relaxing. So to be able to do that for our guests and to make it so you don't have to lift a finger. Come and eat, and we'll clean and we'll cook and we'll do all of that. I think that's a huge draw for us.
And you have great music on by the bar, a little blues today.
A little bit, yeah.
Right?
Got to have the right atmosphere for sure.
Yeah. So how many rooms does the resort have?
So we have 46 rooms, most of which are the way we describe it is hotel-style rooms in cottage-style buildings.
Right.
So most of them are indeed sold on our all-inclusive meal plan. We do have a couple of, we call them housekeeping cottages that have full kitchen facilities so people can, do their own thing and do their own meals if that's what they're after. But most of our rooms are the hotel style.
So the activities that when you come up to Severn Lodge, behind me I see there's the water trampoline and all that. What can your guests do when they come up here?
One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is something for everybody. And and when we hear our guests say that, we had our party ranged from 9 to 90 as far as age goes, and everybody was having a great time. So, whether it be just sitting on one of our Muskoka chairs, enjoying the weather and reading a book, to water skiing and wakeboarding and our fully supervised kids club that runs every day. So mom and dad can, leave the kids with us. They'll have a great time and they can have some alone time. So a daily recreational itinerary with activities going on every day. So really in the summertime, never a dull moment. There's evening entertainment. There's, animal shows throughout the day. So always something going on.
And I heard just as I was coming in to the property and into the front office that you have 7 o'clock kids movie, 9 o'clock adult movie.
We do, indeed, yes. So we have movies at night for the kids, and one of the new things that we've added this year, in addition to those movies that you have in the rooms, is what we call Movie Under the Stars. And we have a great big screen that hangs off of the end of our T-dock, and we have a projector, and literally anywhere on the property you can sit and enjoy the movie. So it's a great experience.
That's right on. So now, do you find that you're getting through COVID, right? Now, did you have to slowly get into this, or how did this all work?
It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. I didn't even have to say it. You read it, right?
Right.
So, of course, just like every other business, we've had to, implement protocols in every single one of our departments. And, of course, that includes, the distancing and the PPE and, obviously making sure that all of our guests as well as our staff are safe. I mean, we usually have up to 30 staff living on site every year.
Yep.
This year, it's half of that because we've gone with single occupancy. All staff have their own rooms.
Right.
So, coming up with our response plan, was certainly a challenge, but to have it done, and everything in place before June 26th when we opened, was wonderful, because when we opened our doors, everybody knew what was happening, everybody knew the changes, knew the protocols, and I think our guests have been, really positive in responding to what they see us doing.
That's right on. That's so right on. So, in a normal summer, in a normal season, how many staff do you have on at the property?
Usually about 50.
Wow.
50 every year, about 30 on site.
Okay. And now, do you get a lot of repeat, or is it becoming more and more of a challenge to get staff to come to the resort?
In the industry itself, I think turnover is relatively high, not because of anything that the resorts are doing or not doing, but just because, this is students in high school and university, and they'll try something for one summer, and then next summer they want to try something else. So, if you can maintain a low turnover when it comes to managers, or people that live close by that can return every year, that's great. But for the most part, it's relatively a high turnover every year.
So every year, no procedures.
New training, new procedures, new blood, but that's a good thing.
It keeps you young.
Absolutely, yes, it does that for sure.
Are we ready to walk the property?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to go walk the property, see a little bit more of this beautiful piece of heaven called the Severn Lodge.
Let's do it.
Continuing to bring you to the most beautiful places in Ontario, I thought I'd bring you to the Severn Lodge and meet Chef Hubert, who you've been here for over 20 years now, haven't you, at the lodge?
Yes, I have. I mean, when I started here, my kids were very small, so it was important for me to come to a place where I can work, and at those days I was allowed to bring my kids with me. So I did see them, did my job, worked, looked after the guests, got to know our guests. We got many people here. They've been coming for years and years. A lot of returning people here.
You told me a story off air about a gentleman who used to come here and spend 4 weeks fishing.
Yeah.
What was the recommendation on his sheet?
You mean where to go fishing?
No, about the worms.
Oh, about the worms. Well, you need lots of them.
Right.
You need lots of them. So when you make your reservation, you order 3,000 worms, and then
Yeah.
your fishing is safe.
And lots of good fishing out here?
Is this better now fishing out there than it has been 20 years ago?
Wow.
I mean, a friend of mine owns a small housekeeping cottage place down here. He's got fishermen. They catch 100 pike on a weekend
Wow.
and throw them back for the next fisherman to come.
That's really cool. So 20 years of being here at Severn Lodge, so you've seen lots of changes, and you've been a big proponent of using local talent. And what I mean by that is going to the colleges and bringing the colleges and sharing your wealth of information.
Before Gary came on as our assistant general manager, Cindy and I, we would go to the colleges and we would promote our resort to the young students. It's tough to get them sometimes. This year we have phenomenal young students here. They want to become chefs. Myself, I'm in the industry for over 40 years. I get lots to teach. If they want to listen and learn, I'm more than happy to pass on my knowledge to them, show them the little tricks of the trade, that you don't get taught in school, that you have to learn when you're out there.
Exactly. You have to learn by your mistakes. You have to learn in front of somebody else. You also, this is we tend to like, feedback right away, and it's a good way to learn that way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, somebody, you watch somebody doing things and say, look, there's a lot easier way. I know they teach you this in school, but here in the industry, let's do it this way. And they go look at it and say, oh wow, I'm done.
So I think we should get cooking.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So what are you going to be preparing? Because this is one of the dishes off your menu.
Well, we got lamb racks. I love the lamb racks. I mean, they're beautiful. You do small orders. When I run my dinner shift, I have most of my things semi-prepared. So meaning my chicken breasts are seared off, but when I need them, that's when I put them in the oven. When I see the orders coming in, that is when I shoot things in the oven. So by the time the person wants their main course, I'm ready for them. Lamb racks, we sear them off after the barbecue is over to have a bit of charring going on, to have some caramelizing going on, to have a good flavor on the lamb rack. And then the evening when we need them, we just give them a shot in the hot oven, away we go.
Perfect.
Right now, I mean, what I do with my racks, I like to give them a little bit of Dijon mustard, a good rub. We make our own seasoning mixture.
We'll just show that to the camera right there. Look at that. That looks beautiful.
You can't beat a lamb rack off the barbecue. So that goes on. You let it brown on one side, flip it over, same thing on the other side. Doesn't take much. And then generally we take them off because we use them for service.
Right.
In the oven they go. Give them the temperature that the people are asking for, and voila. As a second,
to brown it about medium high. You don't want to go much higher than medium on your
on the barbecue.
Yeah.
No, I like high.
Okay.
I like high because you going on, you turn them over and off.
Perfect. We'll hold it there. We'll be right back with some more lamb and Chef Hubert.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
This is a picture from Hungary. That's my father. And it's a picture from your documentary. It's the same person.
There's more here than meets the eye. There's some really good secrets.
When they find out who you are, they will show you no mercy.
Could you use some extra cash? Tune in to McLaren Arts Center TV Bingo on Rogers TV for your chance to win. We have $2,500 in prizes up for grabs every Tuesday night. 5 ways to play, 20 chances each night, but only one way to win. Tune in to McLaren Arts Center TV Bingo, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. only on Rogers TV.
Through United Way, I did a self-esteem course, training for peer support, and now I volunteer. It's a lesson that comes from the nature of doing work with the United Way that gives me a new lease on my life.
So, Chef, I think we've been working way too hard. It's really hot out here. We might need a beverage or two, so I thought I'd bring my good friends Featherstone. They're 4 feathers. It's a beautiful white blend. It will pair really nicely with the lamb and the fish.
Sounds
and
like
with
an
social
excellent idea.
distancing. Cheers, my friend. Thanks for having me here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that hits the spot.
So, we mentioned that your lamb's on. We've seared it. I brought some lake fish. I brought some pickerel, and I brought some perch. So I thought we'd do something different with the pickerel. We're going to cedar plank it. So I have it on our wet soaked cedar plank, been soaking it. We've been soaking it for days, but normally you would just soak it for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, again, you can soak it in tea, you could soak it in beer, even some wine, you know, and go from there. So I'm going to slip behind you here.
I'm going to come over here.
Okay. We're going to take it. I have a little bit of salt and pepper already on it. On the grill it goes. And you're going to hear a lot of popping as it starts to dry out, and the steam cooks the fish, and we're going to get a little bit of that beautiful smoke from the cedar. But you have something else right there that I'm seeing that's absolutely fantastic.
I got some tenderloin tips.
Yep.
Tonight I have beef tenderloin on my menu. So from the tail end, as we all know, those are the best little pieces. I made us a couple of brochettes, just some red onions, bell peppers, and tenderloins. Again, a little bit of seasoning mix. We'll keep the fish on one side. We'll put our tenderloin.
On the other, might get a little bit of smoke. That's not a bad thing for you.
Smoke, it won't hurt that at all.
So what have you noticed is the biggest change in kids coming out of college right now? In a good way and a bad way?
Well, in a good way, they all want to be hired as the executive chef. So that shows they want to go somewhere. In a bad way, well, they're not going to like what they have to start with, because school teaching and practical knowledge is 2 different things. You got to learn, you got to put in your time. But if somebody is really committed, they will succeed. I mean, I've got a young guy in there right now. I already offered him a job for next year. And if he's not doing anything this winter, he can come with me this winter as well. So there is always work for good people that have the right attitude.
Right. So I know you're here in the summer, and your kind of time frame is May 1st?
Well, long weekend in May to the long Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That is where we open. I mean, many years ago they thought about, should we make this a year round? But a lot of our water pipes, they're sitting this much on the ground.
Right.
So it's just not feasible.
So then in the winter months, what do you do then? Or a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
Well, besides working on my own business, I make cheese boards.
Yes,
Live Edge.
yes, I saw that. If one was missing, it wasn't my fault.
I have a bunch of customers. They love those. They just rave about them. I started years ago. We had tree needed to come down here because it was a danger, and the grain was just beautiful. So maintenance guys were going to cut it up into firewood, and they said, whoa, wait a minute.
Yep.
Look at it, beautiful. So with the palm sander, I sanded this board, cut it with a chainsaw first. Was a lot of work. And then I had a lady show up in the dining room. She said, I love those boards. I like to buy 12 of them. Where I'm going to get 12 of those boards from? So I managed to find them. It's balsam poplar. It has beautiful grain. It is treated with food grade oil. It's got all the things that we're looking for, kosher, no nuts involved. And it is something, as a chef, we make nice plates, we make beautiful dishes, and they're gone. because people eat them.
Yep.
When you work with a nice piece of wood and you make a beautiful cheese board or a wooden bowl, you look after it, it's beautiful right now, and it's beautiful in a month, and it's beautiful in years still. That's my balance between the two of them.
Perfect. So in just a second, we're going to come back. We're going to take a look at how our cedar plank's doing. I'm going to get our perch going, and I also have a little bit of salsa that I'm going to put on with some fresh vegetables. So this is the easiest crumble you're ever going to do, and we all know that we'd rather be out on the lake doing something else than spending time in the kitchen and the cottage. So I got some fresh Ontario blueberries, cultivated blueberries. You know, we might want to take a little bit of the stems off. Try one, because you always got to try one. Now, I got some fresh berries. In they go. And then we're going to make a simple crumb topping. I have some butter. It's kind of nicely melted really quickly for me. I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to it. Brown sugar. You know, if you don't have brown sugar and you have white sugar, you can use it. Because I know sometimes the pantry at the cottage isn't as full as at home. Put our sugar in. And then I have a combination of flour and oats. And if, again, you have any intolerances, you can use some gluten-free flour, gluten-free oats. If you want, you could add some cinnamon and nutmeg to this. And just stir it in. Just incorporate it so the butter's all into the sugar. And then we're going to place it over our berries. Just like so. It doesn't have to be pretty. In the oven it goes. And this oven is our grill. Pop it right in. Far corner. And in 20 minutes you're going to have a beautiful cobbler. So we have our pickerel and our cedar plank, which is really coming to fruition. Also, I put the cobbler in. I put a pan in just to get the heat, because you want, when we're going to put our perch on, we want it to sizzle right away, give it that quick sear. The skin's going to puff up. It's going to be fantastic. So I have it. And you can just hear how the cedar plank is popping now and giving that really nice smoky flavor. Yeah, I like how we've changed ways now. You know, I'm doing the work, chef's doing the drinking behind me. I see how this is going down. And that goes. Okay, while that's cooking, I'm gonna quickly do our salsa. And the salsa here is really simple. Cucumbers, a little bit of peppers, a little bit of white onion, of course some fresh basil that we got. We might have stolen it from the chef's garden. A little bit of olive oil on it. You could hit it with a little bit of lemon juice, lime juice, wherever you want to go with it. And here we go. So this is done. Chef's going to put his vegetables on. We have some guests here that are ready to eat. We'll be putting it all together. So my pickerel and perch are done now, so I'm going to grab them out. Oh, those vegetables look great, Chef. Just look at that, beautiful white. It's got a little bit of yellow from the smoke on it.
Nothing wrong with the pickerel either.
Right?
Oh my God, it looks good.
Okay, so I'm gonna move over here now. This is all your spot. I'm gonna start plating. We have a little bit of melon salsa underneath it. I'm gonna put our salsa on, and away you go with your vegetables.
Well, we got some red peppers, bell peppers here, red, yellow, some beautiful green asparagus. And everybody likes a red onion grilled. They sweeten up so nicely when they see a little bit of heat.
Right.
Fresh Ontario corn. It does come in a little bit thin at the moment, but give it another week or two, it's gonna be in its prime. It's gonna be amazing. So we just peel our husks back, show off the gorgeous corn that we have here.
And I know we have some hungry guests behind me. We're going to get our plates done. We'll have them eating. And Chef Hubert, I can't thank you enough for having me in God's country. This beautiful place you call home on a regular basis.
Last year I had a senior group in, and they loved my food, and the one gentleman says, "Why aren't you in the city making the big bucks?" I said, "Have you looked outside?
Yeah.
Why would I want to be in the city?"
100%, right?
Now let's see how our lamb rack turned out. Beautiful pink on the inside still.
All roll it up.
This is perfect for our guests this afternoon because you don't need much cutlery.
Right.
You just take the skewer, you take the lamb rack by the bone. What else is there?
Nothing.
Yo, check this out.
So I'm sitting here with Assistant GM Gary Dunn and Chef. But Chef has brought us something because we didn't mention this earlier in the segment, but Chef, you have some amazing mushrooms here on the property.
It's amazing what's out there, free for the taking. They're growing here. I mean, years ago we had a naturalist here who told me how many mushrooms there are out there. I mean, yes, people are afraid of mushrooms because they don't know. I don't know them either, all of them. I mean, you got to study that field to really know them. But pick the ones that you know: chanterelles, pink corals, sibs. Amazing. I have guests coming into the kitchen asking, "Can you identify the mushrooms for me? We want to cook those for dinner." Hey, no problem. The ones I know, I'll let you know which ones are safe.
Yeah.
The rest, if in doubt, throw them out.
100%.
That's simple.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.